Hey, welcome to the Virtually Speaking podcast, VMware Explore 2025 coverage. Joining me today again as co-host is my good friend, Mr. Dave Linthicum. Dave, welcome back.
Hey, it's great to be here, Pete. Thank you.
How's your Explore been so far?
Explore's been amazing, especially the donuts they just had over there. I hung out there for a couple hours. I just put them away, and I'm glad they did. I was going to go for the record, but they denied me. They took the table away.
The food is good. I'm not going to lie. Also joining us is one of our special guests, good friend of the show, Paul Lembo. Welcome back.
Hey there, Pete. Very great to be here with you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, Paul. So I love talking to you all the time, honestly, because you give me a pulse of what's going on in the field, what customers are saying, and I think it's really valuable to have that information both internally, but I think everybody should hear these types of things: the good, the bad, the ugly, all of that stuff. So, very high level. We're here at Explore. How's your Explore been going so far? So I heard you did some karaoke.
I did some karaoke. So if I'm a little rough today, it's because I went hard last night, technically this morning. But if you're here, you've got to live it.
Okay. What Pink Pony Club? What did we sing?
Yeah, we did Pink Pony Club. I didn't pick that one, but once you're in, you're in.
Awesome. So what else have you been doing besides singing Pink Pony Club?
So it's been great. I've been here for 5 days. I was here for CTAB this weekend. Been here for a lot of meetings with customers, partners, integrators. So it's been a real interesting mix of people. And there have definitely been some strong themes in those conversations. But I think one thing that is obvious to people that are here, but for the folks at home or watching this later, there's a real energy. People are really excited, and that's been real fun.
Yeah, one of the things I've seen a lot of people talking about was your post, actually, on getting certified.
Yes.
What's that about?
So if you're lucky enough to be here, you can take a certification for free. You can test. And of course, if you pass successfully, you don't just get lab licenses, which has been true for a while. We're also giving you some very cool custom VMware VCF sneakers with a 9 on the back. They're like Nike Air Force One style.
Yeah, they're really nice, actually.
For the shoe heads in the game. And that post blew up on LinkedIn. And it's really interesting because a ton of people have stopped me in the hallway to ask for tips, like what's it going to take to pass, because I've got my certification badge on over there. I've even had some people offer to buy the sneakers off my feet.
Yeah,
I guess welcome
cheating.
to Vegas. That's cheating. But I think it speaks to a larger theme that I think is really the important lesson, which was last year at Explore. We were here. It was great. And we made a lot of promises. We said, this is coming, that's coming, 9's going to be amazing. We've changed the company. You're going to love what we do. But now we've actually done it. So it's no longer a promise made, now it's a promise kept. And that has created a lot of trust for people. They're like, hey, last year was a tumultuous year. There's no two ways about it. But you really are going to be that R&D company you said you were going to be.
Yeah.
And the people that are here have seen some roadmap. They've seen some other things we can't talk about everywhere. And they're like, wow, so it's not just 9.0, but it's what's coming in 9.1 and 9.2. And that has made people not just think about data centers and private cloud, but it's made them think about their career. Because they're like, hey, this is really going to happen. I want to get on board. So I'm really happy to see that certification has been busy every day.
Yeah.
Because when people don't have a session, they're going over there to take a test.
Yeah. I know David doesn't offer certifications, but he's also pretty familiar with training. I've actually seen a lot of it. He's got books that he's written that are fantastic that I've read,
nice.
But also a great YouTube channel link in the description of this episode. But tell us a little bit about what you talk about when you're training.
I talk about how to make this stuff work. I mean, that's the pragmatic the pragmatic ability for this technology to move in the field, and how to make it add value to the business. That's why I focused on private cloud many years ago, multi-cloud based deployments, things like that. At the end of the day, CIOs, they only have a certain pile of money. They're trying to get as much value out of that pile of money as they can, and the ability to deploy the technology where it needs to be deployed. And I'm not agnostic. I'm agnostic based on all technology. I don't have any favorites. And the ability to look at the right technology for the right problem domain and implement it in the right way, and also operate it as optimally as you can. That's core what I do.
Nice. Well, Dave, I have to say, I've been watching your videos for years. It's a pleasure to be here with you today.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Very nice.
I was wondering who that was.
Yeah.
That's probably not the first time you use that joke. That's pretty good. I like it.
That's a go-to.
That's a go-to. Very good. So, Paul, I know, like we talked about, you do a lot of customer conversations, internally and externally, with customers and executives, but maybe you can share a little bit of the themes that you've been hearing this week.
Sure. So there have been a couple themes, because my time is really split between executives and practitioners, to use those titles a bit loosely. And the conversations have been very, very different. On the executive side, I want to be honest, we've been a little aggressive. We've been leaning in and saying, look, our executives are meeting with their executives, and the conversation we're having is, we've proven now that we have a repeatable formula for success with private cloud. And it makes economic sense. It makes sense for app modernization. It makes sense for modern security. And we're going to continue to deliver. And we're going to continue to do a great job delivering services with our partners. But there's a key thing that we need our customer executives to accept, which is that if we're going to unlock this together, they've got to have an org that aligns to that. They can't have a silo owner that's going to put us in private cloud jail because they don't want to make a change. We need those teams to evolve. And we've had some friendly but frank conversations about that, because I think that's the key unlock. It's the difference between the truly successful and the not so successful.
Yeah, absolutely. I think at the end of the day, and by the way, I would love to see executive practitioners. I know you're putting them in different piles, but that would be a unique combination. I think we're getting there, but not quite there yet. I mean, ultimately, this is about where the investments are going to be made and how the value is going to be brought back to the business. Having been on both sides, I've been on the vendor side, CTO, different, technology companies over time, very much like VMware, and also, CEO of companies where I had operational focus. At the end of the day, we're trying to figure out where the bets need to be made and the partners need to be established. And so when the executives are coming into your meetings, they're looking, I know this, but I've been in those meetings, they're looking you in the eye and they say, are you going to deliver what you need to deliver? Is it going to be working order? Is it something I can rely upon? Things like that. Also, is it going to have a pragmatic value, value proposition of it? And of course, the practitioners are trying to figure out how to implement it, but those executive conversations are a lot more important than they appear.
No, I would never, ever disagree with that, because with that executive support, a lot is possible. But you can't bottom up a transformation. No matter how hard and how smart you are or your team is, you need that support. You just got to have it. And if we have to do that work, and I like to get real with the math, we're very willing to do open book math on the financial side, on the capacity and performance side, wherever you need us to go. We've built our own tools with that. But there's no man behind the curtain. We'll share all the numbers, all the base assumptions. And people are sometimes tentative about that.
I got a question for you.
Sure.
How often does it go up above the executives to the board and investor level, where they're helping them make a decision on the investment in technology? Obviously, with the AI stuff, that's the focus now. Those are now board level discussions. They were not that way 2 years ago. And so, looking at like the private AI cloud, and other things you're coming up with. Those are strategic decisions that are going to be long-term investments. Are the boards looking at that? The investors looking at that?
They definitely are. And I think when we're doing our best partnership, and I've been involved in this personally, we're working with those executives to help prep them for the board meeting, because there's a language gap sometimes where we can have a very technical conversation. And the people on these boards, many of them are very, very smart people, but the state of the art is shifting. We were talking about large language models a couple years ago. Now, then we jumped to RAG. Now we're talking about Model Context Protocol. Do we need to talk at the board level about that? No. But do you need to reference that, and that, hey, the landscape is shifting, and then tie that to how the financial landscape of AI is shifting? The cost of 1 million tokens 4 years ago versus now is going down. And so what does that mean? So yes, I would say where we're doing our best work and we have good partnership, we're absolutely prepping people. I'm not in those meetings, but I'm helping people get ready.
I'm sure you will be in those meetings coming up pretty quick. There's a lot of them going on.
It's true.
Yeah, for sure. So you're speaking to a lot of executives. What about some of the practitioners? Are you also having those level conversations?
I have to say it's refreshing. And we have a full range of customers here. We've got some people that are dragging edge. They maybe shouldn't even be here, should be home upgrading from 7. Then we have customers, and we've always had some of these, and I love them, that are absolutely cutting edge. And they're doing really interesting things with our technologies, when it comes to integrations and automation and really making the whole ecosystem sing. Because as proud as I am of what we do, we're one important part of an ecosystem, but we're not the whole story. And the best people are always at those intersections. But one theme I'm hearing from a lot of people, now that a lot of our customers are getting VCF, is I'm hearing thank yous. And to be very candid with you, the practitioners will come up to me and say, hey, I wasn't involved in the negotiation last year, and I know it got colorful at times, but we worked that out. But I just want to tell you, I'm glad, because I always wanted the full stack, or at a minimum, I wanted operations, but some OEM was selling us and bundling some other things, so I could never get it funded. Or I wanted to do vSAN, or I wanted to do VPCs, but at my level, I just couldn't make that happen. And I was getting backed into solutions that were, I'll say, less elegant, and I wasn't having a great time. So even if we're not going to be full stack in 6 months, we're going to be a lot closer to a solution that helps us. And they're just so relieved that that doesn't have to be part of their job, because they don't want to worry about budgeting. They don't want to worry about vendor competition. They're, on call. They're trying to do better service delivery, and they want to do pieces that work together. So it's been really, really heartwarming, because I know a lot of the PMs that are doing a lot of the work to make these products better. I really liked Paul Turner in the keynote talking about the thousands of talented developers working hard and working with purpose. Because I hear from the practitioners, they're like, hey, I've seen what's coming with ops, what's coming with vSAN. I could name more things. And that's the future for them, because they're 1 or 2 versions behind. But they're so excited to do it because they know it's going to make a real difference at the ground level. And those will always be my favorite people. The people that have to sleep with a phone and they're on call. If I'm making their life better, then we're winning.
You know what I love about this event is that, and the attitude of VMware Broadcom, is ultimately this is about adding value within the business. This is not about taking over. You go to the cloud conferences out there, and I love those guys. I love spending time with them. This is about everything moving to their walled garden, and nothing else is on the table. You guys are all about augmentation, the ability to look at public cloud providers, existing security infrastructures, and really define your place in that architecture, and then grow your value based on that. And I love that. That's the story that we're not getting from the other vendors right now.
I know, I totally agree, and I'll even take that a bridge farther, because I think where we are doing so well in private cloud is exactly to your point. We're willing to meet our customers where they are and then try to pull them a little bit more forward. But let's be real, sometimes that means meeting them in the middle of a mess, in the middle of a lot of tech debt, and knowing we're not going to get them to ideal, but we can get them to better. I think it's our long history of being that company, forgetting all other details, that gives us a real advantage with private cloud, because it's going to be evolution, not revolution.
There you go.
We have to be patient but persistent. That's what I ask of the PMs. That's what I ask of the customers. And because they're so busy competing with each other and trying to define the state of the art in their 4 walls, for all the talent and money that those organizations have, and I have a lot of respect for them, they can't also chase this problem. It just doesn't make business sense. And I hope we can do even more partnership. Because some of my favorite partnerships where it's like, hey, don't fight us over IaaS and private. You're never going to win that fight. I don't care who you are. But let's bring your Azure services and run them on top of our IaaS into the data center. Let's bring your Amazon services, things we don't do. Or even if they are competitive with Tanzu, we need to support the ecosystem. So I hope we can see even more of that partnership moving forward.
Yeah, I think it's a start of something big. I mean, you guys are really back. You just hit the nail on the head. The energy here, I've been at all the Explorers here in the States for a while. The energy here is very different. It's palpable in terms of how people are putting their energy behind it. They believe in the message. They believe in the technology. And so they're looking and excited to execute on it. So you guys have a great set of customers who you're doing right now, great set of employees who are making this happen. So congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, and I'll emphasize the great customers, but also the great guests that work for us, like Paul. Paul, thank you so much for joining us on Virtually Speaking. Hope you enjoy the rest of your week.
Pete, thank you so much. Dave, thank you.
Have
a great one.